Okay, what are the benefits of trade between countries? Well, increased wealth, mutually beneficial, that's why you trade, right? You get those things. You could say less likely to war. What's absolute advantage and comparative advantage? Absolute advantage is a country can produce more efficiently than another country. Comparative is a country can produce relatively more efficient than another country. So even if a country has absolute advantage, a comparative advantage can still help you out. And how does trade help with political stability? Countries would lose out and gain from trade, so countries are less likely to go to war if they trade. What are two barriers to international trade? Well, there's more than two, but you can tariffs, quotas, embargoes are all barriers. What's the difference between protectionists and free traders? Protectionists, they favor barriers to protect domestic industries. They want to protect those. And free traders want fewer or no barriers. They don't want barriers to trade. What are some arguments protectionists give against free trade? So why should we not have it? We can become dependent on other countries. We saw this in COVID. They want to protect infant industries at home, and they want to protect domestic jobs. They want to make sure people lose jobs. What is the WTO and NAFTA? The WTO is the World Trade Organization. They promote trade, and of course the North American Free Trade Agreement. What's the difference between a fixed exchange rate and a flexible exchange rate? Fixed. Currency price is fixed to the price of another currency. So the dollar might be fixed to like the yuan, so it's fixed. Flexible is supply and demand determine the price of the currency. That's how most currencies are. They're flexible. It's just whatever supply and demand is. And when and why did the dollar begin to float? Why was it flexible? In 1971, when the dollar got off the gold standard. No more gold standard, it means the market determines what the value of the dollar is. Under flexible exchange rates, how are trade deficits corrected? Supply and demand corrects the trade deficits. So it's supply and demand. That'll correct it. Number 11, why is economic development in countries important? Well, one is humanitarian. We want to help other countries. That's a good thing. The other is political stability. If countries are stable, if they're more developed, they're less likely to go to war, they're stable. And self-interest. We want countries to develop so we can sell them and make money out of them. List the stages of economic development in countries. There's primitive equilibrium, transition, takeoff, semi-developed, and high development. And then what are the obstacles to economic development? There's a bunch, so we can list whichever we want. So population growth is an obstacle, lack of resources, geographical location, where it's located, disease, lack of education and technology, external debt, corruption, war, and then capital flight when people take money out of the country. How do microloans work? These are small loans to be used to generate income for someone. So small loans, someone that use it to generate income, not just to buy stuff. What's globalization? Movement toward a more integrated and interdependent world economy. So more countries are trading dependent on each other. And what are some examples of free trade regions? European Union, NAFTA, we have the Association for Southeast Asian Nation Trade, you have OPEC, there's a bunch of them. What was Thomas Malthus concerned about? He was concerned about population growing faster than its ability to feed itself. We're gonna run out of food for population. But what did he get wrong? He did not predict would be increases in productivity, especially with food, and that families would choose to have fewer children as they develop. What effect does population growth have on a country's resources? High population adds pressure to resources. More people, more demand for resources. What are examples of renewable and non-renewable? Renewable, or hydroelectric, biomass, solar, wind, non-renewable, coal, petroleum, natural gas, fossil fuels. And how do incentives affect the use of resources and pollution? Incentives can increase or decrease the demand for resources and pollution. If there's incentive to pollute, people do it. If there's incentive to not pollute, or an incentive to use less resources, high prices, you're gonna have less use of resources. They have a direct effect. Okay, if you need a stamp, I am stamping.